Navi, or in Sefer Shemuel Bet, chapter 5. And finishing it, we said that David had more kids. He ended up having Shlomo and many others. And then the pasuk says, "Vishmu plishtim ki mashchu et David lemelech al Israel." The Plishtim heard they anointed David as the king over Israel. So now v'yalu kol plishtim levakesh et David. The Plishtim came and they wanted to seek out David. They wanted to get him. The Plishtim came. V'ishal David b'Hashem. David asked Hashem, obviously through the Urim v'Tumim, if he should go and fight against them. And Hashem told him, Ale, go up. Ki naton eten et Plishtim b'yadecha. I will give you the Plishtim in your hand. Okay, so let's go backtrack a little bit. The Gemara Sanhedrin says that David took over here additional pilagshim, right? He took additional concubines. So we should know, what is a concubine. So Jewish marriage has two steps usually. You have erusin or kiddushin. You give the ring, betrothal, where she's just dedicated to you, but she's not fully your wife. And then you have nisuin, where you have the huppah, and where you have to actually make her your wife by bringing it into your domain, to the huppah. And then at that point, they're fully married. A ketubah is a marriage contract that says what the husband's financial obligations are to the wife, in case, and what he has to pay in case he dies or he divorces her. Now, we learned earlier that a king cannot have more than 18 wives. And therefore, even if concubines, he cannot have more than 18. So with the new wives and concubines that David got, he was still under the number. He's not allowed to pass over that number.
That's in total?
Uh-huh. What do you mean?
Like, is it 18 plus 18?
No, total. The wives and the concubines add up to the same number, to the same count. The difference between a wife and a concubine is wives are acquired through act of kiddushin and have a ketubah. Concubines don't have kiddushin and they don't have a ketubah. So what do? You just commit to each other, and then it's permitted. But once and a concubine cannot be with anybody else. It's dedicated to this one person. And once they don't want to continue this relationship anymore, they just end it. That's it. Finished. You just go. No get. There's no kiddushin and there's no get.
Why would the concubine say yes then?
Why would the concubine what?
Go for it.
Why would she agree?
Yeah.
Well, she wants to be connected to this man. She likes this man. She likes him. But she doesn't want to have a formal husband and wife relationship. She doesn't want to have a bunch of kids with him.
Oh, so he still takes care of her. He's supposed to take care of her, no?
They don't have to live together. They don't have to live together. No, there's no obligations of mezonot and house and clothes and all that kind of stuff like a wife. It's just purely
Sign me up.
a business relationship. Very, very business like. Okay, fine. Says Navi. So David gets approval from Hashem to fight the Plishtim. He says he's going to win. So David came to the plain of Peratzim. Baal Peratzim, Mekem Sham David. David struck the Plishtim over there. He said, Vayomer Paratz Hashem et oivai lefanai keperetz mayim. Hashem breached my enemies like a water breaches a barrier. And therefore he named that place the plain of Peratzim, the plain of breaches. The pasuk says, Vayazvu sham et atzabehem. The Plishtim left their idols there. And Vayisem David v'nashav. And David and his men carried them. What does this mean? So the Gemara Yushalmi and also what Sefer Avodah Zarah says that it's forbidden to benefit from any idol. However, if the idol belongs to a non-Jew is allowed to nullify the idol by breaking it in some way. We learned this in the Mishnayot, Masechet Avodah Zarah. So Itai the Giti was a Plishti soldier who became part of David's camp after the army was defeated. So the pasuk says over here that what David and his men carried the idols, right? But according to one opinion, what is Vayisayim? Vayisayim means they scattered. David and his men ground up the idols and threw the powder in the wind, which carried it off. And another opinion says that they were burned in fire. So the point is that it's not a contradiction because Itai, before he arrived, they were burning the idols so nobody could benefit them. But when Itai the Giti came, the Goy, he came and he nullified the idols. We said one easy way to nullify the idol is breaking the nose, right? You'll see a lot of idol statues in Europe. The noses are missing. Right? That's a classic way to nullify an idol.
The Muslims did that?
I said they did it to the Christians, to the churches, all the idols, they broke their thing.
When Itai came, he nullified the idols, and that way they were permitted, and therefore they carried it away and benefit from them. Okay, so the point is that that it's not called, what's it called? It's not permitted to benefit, so therefore they made measures to take care of this issue. So then the pasuk says that Plishtim came up again, and they wanted to fight David again. This time, David asked Hashem. Hashem told him, you can't fight directly. Yish'al David b'Hashem yomer lo ta'aleh. Don't go up. Hasev el acharehem ubat alehem mimur b'chaim. Circle from the rear and approach them from the mulberry trees. Vehi v'Hashem echad kol tza'ada b'roshei v'chavim. When you hear a sound like marching from the tops of the mulberry trees, then then you'll shout your battle cry. When you hear this noise like marching at the top of the trees, then you can go and yell, and you can go out and strike the Plishtim. David said what Hashem said, did what Hashem said, and he struck the Plishtim from Geva all the way till Gezer.
Didn't he used to get yes or no answers?
Yeah, so here Hashem didn't say no. He said, yes, you could fight them, but you have to do it this way. I want you to do it this way. The question is why? Why didn't Hashem just tell him, go, and I'll win for you? What's the big deal? So here the commentaries say something interesting. It says that David gave him a test with the trees, mulberry trees, where David had to wait. Why? And we see that later at the end of David's life, he also had to wait. You know, when you don't know what's going to happen and when's the right time, you just sit there and wait. It's testing patience. Hashem at the end of David's life, what did he say? He says, you're going to die. David said, when am I going to die? He says, you're going to die on Shabbat, but I'm not going to tell you which Shabbat. So every Shabbat he anticipated he was dying. He was learning all Shabbat in order that he shouldn't die, right? When it came time, the Malach HaMavet made a noise outside. He stopped learning from it, and then he was able to pass away. And where did the Malach HaMavet make noise? He rustled the tree outside, right? The tree also. David went to go see what happened, and the Malach HaMavet took him. So why is this? So a man of marriageable age without a wife is a tragedy. A person should always daven that he should be sent his proper mate at the right time. When Moshe Rabbeinu saw that he couldn't return to Mitzrayim, he took a convert as a wife. Yehuda took Tamar, right, because she was his proper soulmate. But their children was born in a way that, in that way, because Yehuda caused Yosef to be sold, which led to his imprisonment and caused prevented Yosef from marrying until a later age. Right, he marries Asenat, right? So David, the descendant of Yehuda, was also Midah Keneged Midah, and therefore his Malchut was kept from him until the age of 30. On the other hand, Yehuda saved Yosef from dying, and therefore he led to Yosef becoming king over Mitzrayim at the age of 30. Therefore, David also became king at the age of 30. Yehuda is Gematria, 30. So now the Navi tells us that what? We see from here that David Hashem had to teach him patience by making him go and with trees, and he taught him patience by this end of his life with the trees. But the idea is that David had to earn this ability to win this war, and he had to earn his malchut, because there's a lot of tikkunim. You have to know that David is not just his zechut, it's also his earlier generations and who he came from. He was also doing tikkunim for this, that they made their mistakes or they were doing mitzvot.
You mean that the Gilgulim?
Yeah. Well, Gilgulim plus the fact that they're the children of. They're the children of. They do the kun for the parents. The Navi lists the names of the children born to you David in Yerushalayim. And all these names, they're named for different parts of his life, right? So he named one of his sons Shemuel. What is that? Because the baby is learning in the mother's womb the entire Torah. Shemuel means to listen. Shemuel is learning or hearing. So then when babies enter this world, they get Yetzirah first, and they only get Yetzer Tov later. So he named one of his sons Shovev, like the word Shovav. Shovav is a child who's rambunctious. And then you have afterwards, Hashem gives him Yetzer Tov, 13 years old. So he called him Natan. One of them, Natan Hashem gave. And then when you study Torah, you have peace in your life, Shalom. And then you're able to serve Hashem, Yivchar, to choose. And then a person, Hashem turns to this person, he hears his prayers, and he sends him bracha, Elishua, means that Hashem listens to him, or Hashem gives him heavenly influence. If he sins and he turns away, Chaz Shalom, Yefeg, he must do teshuvah, Yafya, which means to do teshuvah in return, and Hashem will hear his calls, Elishama. And then when he really sticks to his ways as a real Baal Teshuvah, and he doesn't go fall anymore, then it's called Eliada, and he'll be saved from the Yetzara, Eli Pelet. So you see all these names he named his children to representing different parts of his life where he went through. But the point is that David the Melech was finally getting established as the king. He established his family, and finally is winning these wars and making Jerusalem great again. Baruch Le'olam.